Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai 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 Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. Om. Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji. Hari Om, Pranam Swami.
Pranam, pranam, pranam. So where did we leave day for yesterday? One and a half days gone. Yo. Everybody is keeping mum.
Universalization of vision. Universalization of vision, Swamiji.
Ideal of the ashram.
Based upon divinity and vision.
Ideal of the ashram. Okay, in ideal of the ashram, there are 4 points. Eh? Okay, but four points we discussed.
Mutual love and service.
First was?
Mutual love and service.
First one.
First one. Vision of divinity, Swami.
Everything is okay. Need not necessarily be in the chronological order, but for the sake of recap, we will say first is universal love and service, and the vision of divinity, and then mutual love and service, and then
God is our help.
Lord is our help. Let others also say, no. Please let others also say. So universal love and service, vision of divinity, mutual love and seva. Lord is the help and guide, and then that's all.
Solo Ram Nam.
Every one of us should know that we have to convert ourselves into a home of love and bliss. So when we go through it again and again, which had happened 90 years back, that is 1931, 15th May 1931, these were the words that came from Papa. We all feel we have been drawn by Papa, and we are on the spiritual journey with Papa. So we should know the essential thing. Otherwise, it goes as a routine, leaving not much of any dent or impact. But when we go through it again and again, whatever sadhana we are doing, it will get more and more become effective. What for I am doing? So the first line was, suddenly everybody goes on Maunam. The first one is expansion, no? Universal love and service means what? Expansion. Expansion from what?
Expansion from me to we.
Expansion from me to we. Yeah, that is right. Expansion from me to we. Then only the manana will start, why should I expand myself? Then I come to know that I owe everything to the factors other than me. So should I not become conscious of it and move from, so far I have been thinking in terms of me and mine. unknowingly, unwittingly. It doesn't mean that we are all selfish and we are all unrighteous. No. We are leading a righteous life. We are all leading a devoted life. We have faith in Guru. We try to help others as much as possible. We try to love others as much as possible. We try to remember him through chanting of the name. All these things are going on because of our association with Papa. But suddenly we realize that it is all from the me and mine level only. The ultimate aim is to not only to expand, the vision of divinity should be there. Na? We are helpful to somebody. When somebody has helped us, we become grateful to somebody. All those things are there. But it is between, so far now, between individual to individual. We have not brought in the God dimension. That is why we have not been able to go, we were not able to go much on this vision of divinity. So now all our sadhanas have taken us to this stage where we are trying, not merely from the individual standpoint. God gave us testing and trying moments. God also gave us helping hands. So both are now attributed to God rather than to the individuals and the situations. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, Swamiji.
So now that he has made us to do all these things in a limited way, but we did not bring in this dimension. So to fully eke out the maximum benefit out of our spiritual sadhana, now Papa he makes us to go back to the statement he gave on 1931 at the time of inauguration of this ashram, because then all my sadhanas will zero to that. Am I expanding? That question will come back to us often. It is purely an individual manana. Because each one will know to what extent we have been. All of us have expanded, no doubt. But to what extent and with the, whether it is expansion from the individual level, that's meaning individual to individual, individual to situation, individual to objects. Though we may say Papa was instrumental in helping us, if we are 100% convinced about it, then we would have stretched it to everything, because when the moment we say Papa, we know that he is behind everything. Now we are trying. So this was the topic that we took up on the first day at London. Elaborate. Everybody wanted to know because majority of them were new to Anandashram. So that is why he made us, under that pretext, Papa reminds all of us. It is not that when we ask them what is to be shared, immediately the reply came something about the ideal of the ashram. We are all new. So he is not reading that quotation, from the in the vision of God. Because again, why should this question rise up now? It is only for our own clarity, so that we will now click everything to this. So with that bhavana, when we started going deep into that message, there emerged in our mind that there are 4 aspects there, vital aspects of our spiritual sadhana. And the first one is I should know spirituality means expansion. Because the spirit in me is the spirit everywhere. So far, I have not been able to concentrate on that level, the spiritual level. But the spirit in me is the spirit everywhere, that is the truth. So I must expand, I should expand. For that I must have some experience about the presence of the spirit. So that is why he said vision of, based upon the vision of divinity. So the presence of the spirit is called divinity. The source of all creation. That is called divinity. Better be there. Better be there. There is another beautiful quotation of Papa. Where ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലായിരിക്കും പറയണത്. അവിടുത്തെ പ്രസാദമായിക്കോട്ടെ. As the single seed, as the single seed sprouts and grows into a variegated tree, so from the one immutable, infinite, original source has come forth the countless worlds and its creatures that make up the universe. For enabling us to dwell more and more on this aspect, these words also may help us. As the single seed sprouts and grows into a variegated tree, one mango tree, those who have come to the ashram, they would have seen one coconut tree. Just imagine. For years together, 50, 60, 100, the optimum should be 100 to 120 nuts a year. For how many years? 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. As the single seed sprouts and grows into a variegated tree, so from the one immutable, infinite, original source has come forth the countless worlds and its creatures that make up the universe. Because these will all help us to know the source. Papa has given us the clues to this fundamental, vital aspect of spirituality in so many ways which are understandable to us. Because everyone would have seen a tree. It has come from a seed. And it flowers, and then when the fruit comes, so many fruits for number of years. And from it many can sow the seed and again it gets sprouted. But all hold to one origin. Na? We also know that the tree that is before us, the mango tree or any tree for that matter, coconut tree, it must have started from a seed coconut which did not have a coconut tree. It is something paradoxical, illogical, irrational. But only from something can come out. So at the moment we will satisfy ourselves that it is the uncaused cause. That's why it is called uncaused cause. Papa himself has used the word uncaused cause. The first primary cause, first cause, for which there is no effect, which is not subject to any cause and effect theory. That is the sprout, and from which everything has come out. So we try to do the manana on that basis. As a single seed sprouts and grows into a variegated tree, so the one immutable, infinite, original source has come forth. The countless worlds and its creatures that make up the universe. So the vision of divinity means going to the source. This will all give us some idea. So when we do the manana, contemplation or reflection, whatever you call it, intellectually we try to understand, yes, there should be one cause. So the moment I become aware of the cause, I am moving towards its realization. Previously, I was not aware of this common cause, the common denominator, the common factor. It has been put to us in a way in which we can understand now. It is not a dictum or a dogma, say you should believe, no. Everything we can work out. The only thing is certain things we may not be able to immediately connect up. So we have to believe the Shastras, and then we understand Shastras are not mere theories. Shastras are the revelation of spiritual scientists, Mahatmas. It is a revelation of their deep study, deep research. So first is expansion, because I owe everything to this creation. The second is vision of divinity, that means the source of all sources. And the third one is mutual love and service. Every one of us, when they come to the ashram, they might know, they might not know. So that is why probably Papa said, and all these years we did not give up any importance to it. Because we are here, that means for the moment, those who are here, either in the form of inmates or in the form of visiting devotees, they are free from their normal routine. In the case of visiting devotees, they don't have to bother about household management, cooking, cleaning, everything. And there is no professional commitment, excepting a few probably they are working from the computer directly. Very few. Otherwise, 99% of the people are free from that. So here we have been given a wonderful opportunity. Nobody asks us to do anything. So we have got ample time. And what are we to do that? Not simply joining the routine. To understand the routine is to understand the ideal of the ashram. So Papa said that here, when we are here, we should try to bring out this mutual love and service. In our own place, it may be difficult initially, because there we have to meet with so many challenges, so many rights and wrongs, so many likes and dislikes are there in preventing us from taking it up on that level. But here, no such thing. So here the testing point, whether we can bring this mutual love and respect. So the sadhana begins here. And the fourth one is, none of us can arrogate that we can do this, because we is the Lord who is there. So the relevance of God in our life, we saw the God mean that vision of divinity or source of all sources. So He is there. So every time we should become conscious of Him. He is there to guide us, to protect us, to lead us. Not the way in which the sense of individuality in us plans, but the way in which He plans. Because He gave us the life. The present me and mine in us did not have any role when we were in the form of a seed in our mother's womb. In other words, when my mother conceived me, the present me and mine was not there. Simple truth. So the Lord is there right from the beginning. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam. I am the eternal seed. In Bhagavad Gita he says emphatically, and not in 1 or 2 or 3, in 7 or 8 stanzas he repeats this. So we try to contemplate upon that. So it was He who gave us this life. It was He who facilitated us to develop all the 200 organs or more than 200 organs of this physical body. It is He who is behind all my senses in the form of life force, in the form of awareness. It is He in the form of intelligence has prompted His chosen instruments to bring out all creature comforts for us, including the language. We should know, we are talking to everybody with this language. There are so many languages. For us now, English language. We suddenly realize we did not bring this English language. Prior to our coming, this language was there. So He prompted somebody to bring out this language, the grammar, and how to use that language, how to convey our ideas, thoughts, emotions through that language. Somebody has done elaborate work, That is why when we join the innocent alphabets, it gives a wonderful meaning. The wonderful, meaning, MEANING. They are innocent letters. By themselves, individually, they are innocent letters. But when they join together, it touches and kindles so many things in us. So we try to understand this. Everything has been provided by that provider, great provider, which I have to keep on reminding, because me and mine asserts, I am doing it, I can do it, I have done this. So Papa on that day of inauguration makes it clear the Lord is the help and guide in all matters. And he again invokes, may His blessings enable us to treat this as the home of love and bliss. That means each one of us have to become a home of love and bliss. That is the message Papa has given through this. And for this only Nam Seva Dhyan came. Because how did he reach this stage to give us this ideal? That was because of the Nam Dhyan Seva, the triune path. So when I chant Ram Nam, when I involve in various activities, when I try for an inward journey, I must be now conscious that I am not doing it as a discipline, but I am here to expand myself, to know the source, to develop, to habituate myself of loving and serving all. I should always be conscious that He is the great provider. And finally, the outcome should be that in me, everybody should have a space. In my mind, everybody should have space. Then only it becomes home, English language, it's a beautiful gift to us. House and home. House is the civil construction. But the moment I say home, homely, there is a belonging there. Love is there. Homely meals, we say, hotel means homely meals. That hotel meal was homely. What does it mean? It is not merely a preparation for the, but there is a devotion is involved. There is samarpanam is there, dedication is there, perfection is there. All these contribute to
Swamiji,
this.
Om sounds as OHO. Om.
HOME.
But sounds as OHO. Rendu
H is silent.
Kamal.
H is silent. Om. This is what she means to say OM. Om.
Anyway, whatever it may be. Idea is that it should become a home. I should become a center of home.
Source.
In me, that means in my mind, I must be able to give, I must be able to bring in the care and concern of as many as creation. I may not be able to embrace the whole world, but whatever or whoever God enables me to get in touch with, to contact with, I give a space to them. That is what is there in the 12th chapter, Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra karunayavaja. Malice towards none, friendship towards all, compassionate towards all. Such a person is dear to me. In that way, he has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. If we knowingly try to, whenever some difference of opinion comes, we express it. But suppose we don't carry it, then that means we are given space in our heart. It may be a tall order for us because of the various challenges we have to face outside. But still, let us keep it as an ideal and try for it. Many trying, testing situations may arise where we may find it difficult to keep up this balance. But when we want to qualify ourselves as the spiritual children of beloved Papa, we try in our own way, no matter whether we fail or forget for number of times. And that is what we could see in them. Anybody who got in touch with them, they feel they have got a space in their heart. More visible in Puja Mataji's, and later on in Puja Swamiji's. Anybody, Papa Mataji, Swamiji are teaching us, the first and foremost thing is, anybody who comes in contact with them or God makes them to come get in touch with them, they have got a space in their heart. That is why everybody remembers them. But suppose we deal it from the individual standpoint, praise them, it will not help us in our spiritual pursuit. How is it that they were able to do it? All these things, expansion, vision of divinity, mutual love and service, the Lord is the help, all those, the cumulative effect of all those became expressive in the form of home of love and bliss. Many of you have been coming for years, might be feeling, all those feelings. The moment we get down the Kanyagat railway station, and then we get into something will well up in our heart. Till such moment, probably we may be talking to somebody. But as we come nearer to the ashram, our anxiety to rush to Mataji's room, until we see her, just to have a replay, the heart will be pumping. The anxiety in all of us is like children to go straight to that room and to prostrate. Why we keep on telling this, the door is always open. In every place we need an intermediary to fix the appointment or ask which time. Anybody can go there at any time. If it is closed, we come back, that's all. Mataji may be doing something. But normally it is open. That means what? Anybody can step in. There is no stranger there. That is what is called space in the heart. Once we see her and when we go back, the moment we think about it, again we become aware of it. One devotee, he must have come here many years ago from Tamil Nadu. And he happened to meet Mataji. And he took in quest of God. He later told us that was the instrumental cause for him to turn towards spirituality. Now he is the head of the Dallas Chinmaya Mission. So when we shared some thoughts about Chinmayanandaji and our association with Chinmaya Mission in 60s, after that he humbly asked us, say something about Mataji. Dallas is in US. So when we went there, we just imagine, Papa is teaching us. You look here, when you give space, when you feel that there is a space in not when we come here, when we meet her. These things well up in our mind when we read the word home of love and bliss. So just to pay our compliments and then to Mataji and then keep quiet, no. Mataji bluntly has asked us, you should not stop with that. You remember? What is that word? Anybody remembers? Lashing. Eh?
It's school, huh?
Ah.
Ashram is a school. Which school will allow you?
Ah.
Year after year.
Stay in the same class, without passing.
Without passing a single exam.
You should come back to us often because we failed. Ashram is a school. You have come here to learn universal love and service. You see what we are now talking, It was there already, Mataji said. What is the use of coming here year after year, staying here for months, if you have not imbibed even the rudiments of universal love and service? We come here, chant sometime. Oh, very nice. Now she says, you should not simply come, you should not simply stand outside the gates of the mansion. Doesn't mean outside the gate. We are entering into the gate now. So what she means is whether we are going deep into it and shower compliments and praises on the Guru and then turn back without bothering to enter the gates and experience the bliss of the Guru's eternal being. The physical being we would have seen, eternal being. Bluntly she asks us, the main reason why you hesitate to enter the gates of the mansion is because of the world outside, is the world of I and mine, and you are scared that if you enter the gates and when your mind turned toward the Guru, you would lose the world you have been hugging as yours. You do not realize that far from losing your world, you actually gain the whole universe, which becomes yours when you realize infinite and eternal reality. So the ashram is a school. You have come here to learn universal love and service. Not only to visiting devotees, to all of us who are inmates, who have been drawn by Papa to involve ourselves in ashram activities. It is not for ashram activities we are drawn. We have come here to learn universal love and service. So ashram is a school because it's a school, no? This is a place where you can try. He says, mutual love and sacrifice, mutual love and seva. We give in for somebody, we don't assert. Whenever there is a field for seva, immediately we volunteer, ready to serve attitude. So mutual love and service, universal love and service, vision of divinity, Lord is the help, and finally the home of love and bliss. So even if we spend 2 days, 3 days, 4 days on this, because we will become clear, my chanting of Ram Nam should be for expansion. My chanting of Ram Nam should be to feel the presence of the source of all sources, the first cause. My Ram Nam chanting should enable me to expand myself from the me to we, not to get stuck with the me and mine. Mutual love. My Ram Nam chanting should enable me to connect myself to Him who has provided everything for me. And finally, the Ram Nam chanting should enable me to open up my mind for everyone with whom I am made to get in touch with. It will become clear, So this is very, very important for all of us to go through it again and again and again. Every time we go through, we get new dimensions about it. God will make us to remember many things, Quality care and concern, not care and concern. Quality care and concern for others. Because this is a place where we can try all those things. Fortunately, here there is no injunction, there is no dictum, dogma, that you should do this, you should do that. Maharaji has placed before us the wonderful routine before us. It is for us to make use of it. Otherwise, we are to ourselves. In Bhagavad Gita, he says, yatechasi tatahuru. Whatever we feel like, we can do. There is only this method, that method, nothing. Anything more? Anything more on this subject?
Intense longing is essential.
Then
Purify your mind.
എല്ലാവരും ചൊല്ലട്ടും. Are we getting more and more clarity on the ideal spelt out by Papa on 15th May 1931? That is the question now.
Wherever the mind goes, there you are, my God.
Sure.
That is Guru.
Any other dimension from anybody? The question is, are we getting clarity?
Only the reaction to the world, from the world, is relevant to all these things. So what we do is we try to, assert ourselves, or again our ego stands up. So should we all join an ashram then? Forget the word.
Yeah, that is correct. But when we keep on coming, slowly, that is why they say this is a field where we can try. And when whatever we have tried, suppose we leave it Just like when we go to a temple, we leave the deity there and go back. Similarly, if we don't leave, we have all done something and we enjoy it. We enjoy it. Nobody, we don't want any certificate. We ourselves enjoy it. So when we go back, we try to relive this moment. And then think about all these things, the great provider. That is the only way by which the ego can be tamed. Ego is not a bad thing. He has given us. I did not ask for ego, he gave me the ego. So, but the ego should know its limits. The ego is there so long as we have got an embodied self, we have got a sense of individuality will be there. But the sense of individuality now realizes that it's the main purpose is to know him, who is there in everybody and in everything, and who has provided me, who has been providing everything to me. These are some of the ways by which to a very great extent we can slowly, gradually tame and discipline him. And that is why it is named as Pakka ego then. From the immature ego to the matured ego. It will be there. Until we drop the body, it will be there. But it won't be, it will not think only in terms of me and mine. It will try to understand the relevant, the bounteous gifts that have been given. When the moment they come to know that I had no role in my very birth, that itself will satisfy me. How can I arrogate? I will think. When we are talking this language is a gift of somebody, you know. He was gifted by God to bring this Buddhir Buddhivatamasmi. I am the intelligence of the intellect. So where from this come? Everything has come from him only. So then what is there for me to arrogate? I forget. I understand intellectually, but when I am in the field, I forget. So please help me. So Nama should enable me to remember this. It's an ongoing struggle. Because we go back to the field. In all satsang, this question will come. So long as we are in the satsang, we are 100% convinced. But the moment we are back to our field, it is difficult for us to hold on to it. We agree, it is convincing, it is logical, everything is right. But that is because, right from young age, not young age, right from the day we started coming here, if we had that clarity, probably we would have been able by this time to unknowingly and for reasons that we don't know. Papa did not make us to go through this. One day when we went through this, sometime during 25, 30 years back, we wanted to concentrate on this. Then the idea came up. Small booklet we are bringing. So guidance for ashram life. That is how we first drafted. Then later it came into ashram seva, added more and more from different. At that time, they made us to go to Mataji's letter, Papa's letter, Papa's article on institution. He has never engaged anybody to live in institution. He said you should go out and then flower in your own way. So all those things should be made known to the inmates and the visiting devotees. So ashram seva means, what does it mean? So then a book was brought out. Swami Chidanji Maharaj was here, so he said, yes, you print and give me 100 copies, he said. And then we gave 100 copies to him. So in that book, all these things have come here. It was not there previously. Taken from different things. When a sadhaka undertakes to do sadhana in institutions like ashram, he has to be on constant vigil in all that he thinks, says and does. Chances of slipping down to the dictates of the ego are more because of the age-old vasanas. It is therefore imperative that those who involve themselves in the administration of such institutions, in particular, others in general, should hammer onto their brain the do's and don'ts. With this point of view, this small booklet containing the teachings of revered masters is being brought out for daily reading and affirming to get fixed in the real purpose for which such seva is undertaken. A firm spiritual footing is the theme highlighted in all these teachings. Each and every word or action from those manning such institutions should bear the stamp of the spiritual kinship with everybody. May this book serve all to have the right attitude while engaged in ashram service and help them in their own onward march to the ultimate. This was the preface. And then the ideal of the ashram, then need for selfless service by Papa. In ashram, we have to remember, is founded on the motto of universal love and service. Impersonality is the keynote of its mission. Not that we want to become something here. We want to become nothing here. No? That should be impersonality. Second line of this article Papa says, impersonality is the keynote of its mission. Selfless souls joined together and bringing down the divine power to work in them become instruments for his service. Surely then God's power alone lies at the basis of such corporate activity. An ashram ministry can be compared to a machine whose parts are held together by bolts and nuts, that is, by individuals that form it. If a bolt gets rusty, the manipulator of the machine, finding it unfit, removes that part and replaces it by a new one. So whenever any individual, forgetting that he is merely an instrument in the hands of God for his service, gets contaminated by conceit and pride, God in his own mysterious way brings about his severance from the ministry. New individuals or instruments are instantly fitted into the gap, and his services continues as enthusiastically as ever. Each one has to understand that he is not indispensable. The moment he submits to the ego and its unbridled passions, God throws him aside as unfit for his service. He will certainly be given in due course a turn again to rise and become his true servant. Do not find fault with anybody in the world, because each one is acting from his or her own standpoint, which each one holds to be true. It must not be forgotten that whenever anybody sits in judgment on others and passes strictures on them, he is doing so being conscious only as an individual or an ego. I am right and others are wrong. That is the attitude of one who is willfully denying or is totally oblivious of the principle of a selfless, impersonal life. Ego is a wonderful thing. It always asserts that it is a faultless paragon of virtues and goodness, while the whole world is full of error and wrong. Man, however wise, when he falls into the clutches of the ego, poses himself to be superior, clever and great, deliberately makes himself unworthy of a great cause. True is the saying that man rises by his own strength, falls by his own weakness. Strength is gained by communion with God. Weakness comes through subjection to the ego. Strength is gained by communion with God. Weakness comes through subjection to the ego. Freedom is not license, but service. Independence is not arrogance, but responsibility. Freedom is not a license, but service. Independence is not arrogance, but responsibility. The world is indeed a school of experience. By continuous friction with it, we learn where we stand and what we are. Since the Almighty Power is at the inception of the ashram service, it stands or falls only by His supreme will. If He wills it, in spite of us all, He can break it into pieces. On the other hand, if He wills to make it go stronger than ever, none of us puny mortals can pull it down, however much we try. May His will ever prevail. May He shower His grace on all His selfless instruments and guide them in such a manner as not to fall into the grip of the lower self. And he also says, institution is a bondage. No institution can justify its existence if it does not keep abreast of the changing times. Many of you might know about the two dharmas, you know. One is Sanatana Dharma, the other one they name it as Yuga Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is static. Yuga Dharma keeps on changing. We have to keep abreast. We cannot say what was in 1931 we hold on. No. But the ideal, same. Methodology may be different. So no institution can justify its existence if it does not keep abreast of the changing times. Evolution is the law of life. Change is its keynote. While stagnation means deterioration and misery, progress denotes freedom and happiness. The former stands for discord and chaos, latter for harmony and peace. Religion points to the vision of God. Religion means spirituality, the supreme liberation and bliss born out of the immortal. This vision is not circumscribed by tradition and doctrine because it transcends all limitations. The rules of life should be so set and adjusted that they might admit of being outgrown when the keen hunger of the soul seeks utter freedom in God. If this truth is ignored, life becomes a complex tangle in which the soul is caught, enchained, helpless, hopelessly struggling to be free from the net of its own making. The seed must have a ground so prepared that it may break through the soil and spring out into the growth. If the seed remains under the soil, what is the use? No. It must break. It must come out. Also, favorable conditions have to be provided for the plant to evolve into a tree, then into flowers, and lastly fruits. It must not be forgotten that fruit is the consummation of the seed. So an institution is the garden where every facility for the cultivation of the soul might ultimately transcend the institution for the higher, true, and complete vision of life. Just as the tree outgrows its fence and spreads its branches freely in the air. When we plant, in Vanamahosava or even in our own place, we put a small fence until it grows, Then it outgrows. There is no need for a fence or a protection or a guard. So the soul might ultimately transcend the institution for complete vision of life. Just as the tree outgrows its fence and spreads its branches freely in the air, or as the pupil outgrows the school life for that of the world, else an institution becomes at once an organized bondage and an incubus that warp and crush the healthy evolution of life to its destined goal of freedom and joy. And then comes ashram life. Just now we read. So in this small book, this compilation of Swami Satsangs also says, then spiritual barometer. Swamiji's 3 articles are there. And Swami Ramtirtha on spiritual institution. On practical Vedanta. That's also very interesting. My beloved Hindus, by aversion to change or adaptation, laying too much emphasis on the old customs and heredity, pray degrade not yourself below the level of man. You live in time as well as space. You are descended from the ancient rishis of India, but you live not in that age. Do you? Steam engine, steamship, telegraph are at you. You can no longer shut yourself off from the present world. Your struggle is with the 20th century scientists, artists and workmen of Europe and America. You cannot escape it. If you observe carefully, you will see that you cannot survive except by making yourself fit to live in the altered environments of this age. If you are not willing and ready to assimilate the new light, which is also the old light of your own land, go and live in Pitraloka. with your forefathers. Why tarry here? Goodbye. No? Ramtirtha, he dropped the body in 1908 or 9. So he was seeing the world at that time. Many people, especially in India, they were quoting and they were not looking at what is happening in and around us. Rama does not mean that you should be denationalized. A plant assimilates the outside air, water, manure, earth, but does it by that turn into the air, water, or the earth? Similarly, you should, by absorbing and digesting the outside material, develop and flourish with the original life of Shruti still beating in your breast and bosom. The object of education should be to enable us to utilize the resources of the country. Proper education should enable people to make the land more fertile, minds more productive, trade more flourishing, bodies more active, minds more original, hearts more pure, industries more varied, nation more united. The capability of quoting big long texts to show off our learning, nonsensical hair splitting to torture the sense of passages in ancient scriptures, the study of subjects which we never have to use in life is not education. The taking in of knowledge which we cannot carry out in practice is spiritual constipation or mental dyspepsia. Very strong words. The taking in of knowledge which we cannot carry out in practice is spiritual constipation. Religious bodies, like that, there are so many articles in that book to remind us of the fundamental thing of expansion. So that is why Papa on 15th May 1931, at the time of inauguration, he said this, we would not have known at all had he not inserted it in the vision of God. In the last portion, that means we understand, we may be right or wrong. He started writing the book in the vision of God, and the last portion was added later by him. There he talks about the present ashram here, and then he says at the inauguration of the ashram, he said these words. The ideal which the ashram holds before it is universal love and service, based upon a vision of divinity in all beings and creatures of the world. Here every man, woman or child, to whatever denomination, creed or caste the person may belong, shall have free access. This is a place where every effort will be made to cultivate the spirit of mutual love and service, so that what is realized within its walls may prove as an example for the right conduct of human life outside world. The Lord is our help and guide in all matters. May He, with all His bounty, shower His blessings on the great service which this home of love and bliss has undertaken to discharge. The words of Sadguru Swami Ramdas at the time of the inauguration of Anandashram, Kanjangal on 15th May 1931. We are going through it again and again and again. Probably he wants us, it should get imprinted in our heart, so that it will be connected to whatever we are doing, under the banner of sadhana, under the banner of anything. So we have to do a lot of manana, try to absorb and assimilate as much as we can, and then connect up all our sadhanas towards this direction, so that we will know that the real purpose of Papa drawing us here is not for anything but for expansion. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, 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 Jai Jai Ram Om. Hari Om to everybody, Hari Om to everybody.
Swamiji,
Hari Om, huh?
Hari Om Swamiji.
Yes.